You've studied business English for years, right? You know exactly how to structure a quarterly report, you can lead a board meeting without breaking a single sweat, and your professional vocabulary is rock solid. But then the meeting ends, the laptops close, and you head out for a casual dinner with your British or American counterparts, and suddenly something shifts. The language changes entirely, and you might find yourself feeling like you're missing a massive piece of the puzzle. Well, welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unlocking that missing piece of global fluency, the native slang that executives use to build authentic relationships and close real deals behind closed doors. So here's the rub. It's a completely frustrating scenario, isn't it? Your grammar is perfect. Your vocabulary is totally solid. So why in the world do you still feel a little lost at the networking dinner? The truth is, mastering a formal presentation is only half the battle. The absolutely crucial nuances, the moments where real deals are made, where trust is actually forged and genuine partnerships are built, those happen during the casual coffee breaks and post-meeting drinks. And guess what? They do not happen in formal textbook English. They happen in slang. To fix this, we're going to walk through a quick, highly structured masterclass on global leadership communication, the executive secret weapon, reading the room, evaluating talent and trust, navigating complex situations, driving action and productivity, and finally, the rules of contextual slang. Let's get right into your new toolkit. All right, Section 1. The Executive Secret Weapon, Bridging the Formal Gap. Look, we often think of informal language as, unprofessional. But at the executive level, it's actually a strategic tool. It's what bridges that boardroom versus bar gap. Sure, writing "he is highly intelligent" in a formal performance review is absolutely perfect. But if you're at a post-meeting dinner, saying "he is very sharp" instantly signals a warmer, much closer professional relationship. It basically proves you aren't just some corporate robot. You're a genuine peer speaking their actual language. It's a compliment that builds immediate rapport. Moving right along to Section 2, reading the room, gauging team morale. As a leader, reading how your team or your clients are really feeling behind their corporate masks is vital. When native speakers are pushed to the absolute limit, they drop polite words like tired and use much more precise phrases to express their exact limits. Take knackered. That's a super common British term for just utter physical exhaustion. Stressed out usually means they're overwhelmed by immediate right-now deadlines. But burned out, that signals a dangerous long-term depletion. Catching these specific words lets you accurately diagnose the actual health of your team. So, if a colleague drops this exact phrase, "I am absolutely knackered after that meeting," you instantly know that meeting took a massive toll. They aren't just a bit tired, they're completely drained. And as an executive, this is your opening to show some real empathetic leadership. You could suggest a quick break or just acknowledge how brutal the negotiation was. It proves you're completely attuned to their reality. Which brings us to Section 3, evaluating talent and trust, assessing partners. When you're evaluating the people around you, whether you're vetting new vendors or praising a top performer, executives actually rely heavily on informal shorthand behind closed doors. Someone who is switched on, is alert, always one step ahead of the game. We just talked about sharp for quick thinking, and calling your new hire an absolute gem, that's just a wonderfully warm way to say they're an invaluable person to have on the team. It makes your praise sound 100% authentic, not rehearsed. Now, what about the negative evaluations? Well, this brings us to a really vital British warning label, dodgy. It literally means suspicious, unreliable, or just flat out untrustworthy. If a British partner leans over at dinner and calls a vendor's contract dodgy, listen up. Do not ignore it. They are bringing you into their inner circle to warn you to back away immediately. Missing a casual cue like this could literally cost your company millions. Or think about how a native speaker might warn you about a dishonest counterpart. Saying he is exaggerating is the safe corporate way to put it, but saying he is full of it, that is the unfiltered truth. It means the person is entirely full of nonsense. If you hear this over drinks, your conversational partner is basically throwing a protective arm around you to stop you from making a terrible deal. Let's look at Section 4, navigating complex situations, reactions. As a leader, your immediate reactions to pitches, problems, and surprises dictate the entire flow of business.
Take the phrase a shambles. It's a highly expressive British term for a complete mess or total disorganization. What makes this such a fantastic executive tool is that it accurately conveys the severe magnitude of a failed project, but without ever resorting to unprofessional swearing. You can just sigh and say, "The logistics for that conference were an absolute shambles," and you've perfectly communicated your frustration while keeping your executive composure completely intact.
Now, for everyday networking, you need quick conversational reactions that instantly validate the person you're talking to. If they make a stellar point, say, it's spot on. If they explain a project delay and the reasoning is completely logical, say, fair enough. It tells them you accept their reasoning without a fight. And if they complain about something you also happen to hate, like supply chain delays, just say, tell me about it. It acts like conversational glue, instantly creating a shared bond of mutual experience. Imagine dropping this specific phrase: "Your analysis was spot on. Well done." Doing that after a colleague's presentation is a massive confidence booster. It sounds so much more connected and real than a robotic, formal, "good job." It actually shows you were paying close attention and genuinely valued their insight. Next up is Section 5, Driving Action and Productivity, Execution. Eventually, all that casual networking has to transition back into, well, actually getting things done. Crack on is a fantastic, high-energy British workplace phrase. It simply means to continue working or to get started on something. For an executive, it is the absolute perfect tool to politely but firmly end a small talk and refocus a wandering strategy meeting without sounding overly aggressive. Right. Let us crack on with the Q3 projections. Notice how tossing the word right in there right before crack on perfectly signals that transition from casual chat back to serious business execution. You sit down at the table after a coffee break, maybe give a quick clap at the hands and say this: "I guarantee the room will instantly snap back to attention." It's assertive, sure, but incredibly natural. And when your execution inevitably hits roadblocks, these everyday action verbs really define the reality of daily business operations. To wing it means you're flying blind, improvising without any real preparation. On the flip side, to suss out means to systematically and carefully figure a new system out. Whether a vendor is forced to chaotically wing it during a sudden tech failure, or you need your lead analyst to deliberately suss out the flaws in a new software platform, understanding these verbs keeps you in lockstep with the reality on the ground. Finally, we arrive at Section 6, Rules of Contextual Slang, the warning. Now, before you go peppering your conversations with these new terms, we absolutely have to establish some strict boundaries. Otherwise, you risk undermining all your hard-earned authority. Remember, slang is a tool of intimacy, not formality. Your green lights for these phrases: post-meeting dinners, casual one-on-ones, and networking with familiar peers. That is where slang works its magic and cements bonds. But beware the red lights. Deploying these casual terms in a formal email, a quarterly boardroom presentation, or when you are first being introduced to a stranger will instantly make you sound unprofessional. Context is literally everything here. So we've successfully decoded the secret language of the networking dinner. You know how the executive tools to gauge morale, evaluate talent, react authentically, and drive action just like a true native insider. So here is my challenge to you. Which of these slang tools are you going to deploy to read the room and build trust at your next